Hey everybody, it's Mary Z here with VoiceHacks.net, and this is the Belter series. This is for anybody who wants to rock, pop, heavy metal, hard rock, R&B, blues, country, even some folk music, any sort of non-classical singing that's not using the mixed voice. You want to rock, you want to sing with power. Hey, this is belting. Now, belting, the name it implies that it's loud. It's not always loud. Oftentimes it's quite loud, but it's a term that I use for the tone placement. Belting meaning a forward tone placement. We're going to be sending our sound forward over our x-axis. We go back to my tone placement video and remember that you can turn your imaginary laser beam of sound in a variety of directions, one of those directions being forward. And that's what I call a belting tone placement. I like to imagine my laser beam boring right through my hard palate and coming out somewhere here, like this. And then I also like to imagine sometimes a piece of dental floss pulling through my two front teeth. Those visuals really help the larynx stay relaxed. When you're trying out to belt, you might have to start with your eyes closed just to hang on to that visual. At first, a lot of people find it kind of wobbly to let the tension go of the throat. When we hear belters, we tend to want to tense our throat. But the idea is to have a healthy belt sound that you can replicate all the time that's not going to damage your voice. You need to relax the throat. You need to let go of any tension and gripping, and you need to let the air do the work. So it's really important that you watch my intro series video on breath support. If you haven't already, you need to refresh it, watch it again and again, because you're not going to get a good belt sound out without slamming the chords together if you don't have enough air. If you don't have enough air, you'll try to belt and you'll do something loud and your poor little vocal folds will start slamming together, which is not what they're meant to do. So make sure that you practice belting standing and that you understand breath technique and how deeply you need to breathe for this. So belting is a lot more like talking with pitch on it than any other type of singing. So we're going to take a deep breath in and we're going to go, nay. So I took a huge breath in as low as I could manage, filled my lungs. I'm standing nice and tall or sitting nice and tall. I recommend always practicing standing. I do a lot of my tutorials sitting because it's just more convenient for me to be at the piano this way. But for you guys, I really recommend standing so you can get the most out of your breath support. So stand tall, get that sternum up off the lungs, get those shoulders back, take a deep breath and say, nay, nay. You're going to yell it, but it's going to be a controlled projection where you imagine that laser beam of sound going over that x-axis line. We never imagine anything going below that line. We always imagine it going forward over that line. So take a deep breath and try it one more time. Nay. And the next way, so that's belting right there. That's your belting placement. You want to do that with a relaxed throat. Try that several times till you feel like you're relaxing the throat and you're allowing the air to do the work before you ever try to add singing. Take small steps and nail each step along the way. It will help you prevent vocal damage as you're learning. So really get control over that nay. When I do that, I'm not slamming my chords together, my throat is relaxed, and I'm letting the air do the work for me. And I've got a good picture of my tone placement in my head, so I know exactly where to send my sound. So then once you've done that, you can begin to try to add notes to the belting sound. Fellas, if you need to drop this an octave and go down to nay, I can barely do it, but you can certainly do that. And ladies, we're going to go nay. Sopranos, you may find this difficult, so try this up here if you're having more trouble. Nay. So for lower voice, try this. Nay. And medium voice. Nay. And for men, nay. And for higher voiced men, nay. Just basically pick two notes and slide them together while holding on to that forward tone placement. Nay. At first, you do need to do belting loud. You need to put a lot of air behind the tone placement because at first, you need a lot of energy to be able to hold that larynx in place. So make sure none of this should be hurting your voice, by the way. You should be relaxing the throat. If you're experiencing any pain at all, you need to stop and come back to it another time or whatever, or address the issue. But if you're feeling all right, take a deep breath, and at first it will wobble when you let that larynx. You might get kind of a crackly feeling or a wobbly feeling. Work through it. Once your voice gets used to relaxing and you develop the proper air control, that wobbly feeling will disappear and you'll get a smooth tone. You might want to try putting a little more volume or air into it to smooth the tone out at first. Let me demonstrate again. Nay. And once you feel like you're onto this tone placement, you could try to add words to it, try to add song to it, try to add small section of a song you're working on. The idea is to constantly try to control that tone placement and keep a relaxed throat. And you want to learn that in baby steps. You want to go slowly and you want to work on your breathing, always keeping that relaxed throat till the power is coming from the air.